Lab is what, 7 years old now?
We just hit we're doing tomorrow night. I worked all week and then I'm rolling 2 episodes. That's been a week of just craziness. So 2 with you tonight. Bam, up early tomorrow. We're filming all day tomorrow. Lurch is coming over. And after we get done filming, bam, we're going live at 6:30 p.m. And then we're going to record a second afterwards. And anyways, the first of that episode will be a celebration of our 7 years.
Wow.
And we hit 100, well, like 102K subscribers now. So it's kind of going to be a twofold.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And when this whole thing started, I had hair. So
yeah, dude, I had a lot less wrinkles and my back wasn't bad. Like I've been to the chiropractor like 3 times this week and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm getting old, bro. Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for the all-new Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike. Top quality, affordable chrome lighting and comfort products. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. Head over lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line of Zero 3D products. Oh, yeah, once you've had Rick Rack, you'll never go back. The ultimate motorcycle luggage rack solution. Forget those messy straps and bungee cords. Go strapless with a Rick Rack quick attach luggage system and quality bag. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Get hooked up now. We're going to have a 2020 Sturgis booth in a bunch of the lab guys. Nearly all the lab guys are going to be there. Yes. And it's not just for patron members, it's for everybody because we want to meet everybody. That's going to be on Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, of course. We're going to be at Black Hills Harley-Davidson in Rapid City, South Dakota. Rick Rack booth from 11 to 1. And from 1 to 3, we'll be at the Zero 3D booth. We would love to meet you, love to shake your hand. And if you end up going to Sturgis and you're available, I would love to have you with the lab crew shaking hands with everybody because you've been on, you're a personality and you've been on the podcast a lot and been with us since the beginning. So if you're there, we would definitely love to have you there. And
just another incentive to go. I think that's fantastic. That's so cool that you guys are going to be there in the booth and everything. That's neat.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And and just to get to meet the non-patron members, because I know, obviously we love the patron group, but a large amount of our audience is just audience and they're not patrons. And I would love to, more often be able to meet those folks too. And it just works out because we're in Sturgis. And of course, several of our sponsors have made spaces for us in their booth. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I would assume that you're going to gain a hell of a lot more subscribers and listeners and viewers and everything else just by being there and being available and having, some form of merch or stickers and cards. And
I know I still got to figure, awesome. Yeah. I still got to figure those logistics out, bro. Cause, I don't know how to, the problem is we're going on motorcycles and I got to figure out like, how do we, I was thinking that too. And I'm like, how do I get all that stuff there? And then have somebody who can actually make sure it gets to the booths and stuff. So that's that's my problem. I got to figure logistics out on that.
Well, what you do is you wherever you're staying, you time out the shipping and you put attention guest Ryan Urlacher and they'll hold it for you at the hotel.
Then I got to get it from there to
yeah.
We're staying in a house there in Rapid City again, the same one we stayed in 5 years ago. And so I can definitely get the stuff there. And but logistically, maybe they have an extra car, the folks' house that we're staying at, and I can just at least get the car to get them up there. But again, I don't want to get too far off topic, but that's all one of many.
But that's cool though. That's cool.
Yeah, should be fun. So seriously, if you end up there, we would love to have you there and it would be a great time. So yeah, there you go.
Rock and roll.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Hey, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the Big MM, also known as the 99%. That's right. Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history by being here, by listening to this very podcast, whether you like it or not, and I know you like it, you're part of what we call the biker revolution. Although I will tell you, Matt here has just one question for you before we get started. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Mount up. Let us take you on another wild-ass ride. There you go. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law Abiding Biker Podcast and your high-tech redneck. On the other end of the line here, you've already heard him, is Matt Pass. Welcome, brother, and thanks for hanging out with me tonight.
Thanks for having me. It's been a long time, and I'm really excited to be here.
Well, awesome, man. We're gonna have I need to bring Matt on more. I always say that, and we just get so busy. And I finally reached out to him, and we're gonna actually pump out 2 episodes here tonight. But I like to bring him in, especially for topics like this, because he's pretty passionate. I can get pretty passionate sometime, and between the two of us, we can just completely overwhelm you with our passion. So. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, it is. So you guys have heard Matt in the past. Today's topic, the reason I brought him in is it's all about Harley-Davidson end times is what we're going to call it. Is it the end times? And because CEO Matthew Levatich quit recently. Now, if you follow the YouTube channel closely, I did a video over there on this topic. And that video, it's only been out about 2.5 weeks, and it has, last time I looked, over 250,000 views. That video blew up. You never know what videos are going to blow up, and that video, and it keeps going and it doesn't stop. It's like a perpetual, it's just a snowball. So I figured it was worthy of getting in a little bit deeper here on the podcast. And I'm definitely interested just because of Matt's experience, his experiences, and he knows a lot about marketing and some different things, and always had good insight into this kind of stuff. So we will get right to that. I do want to say really quick that we love our sponsors up front. And if you have your show notes up, we can thank the following people. You got it?
Oh, sorry, you're waiting on me.
Oh, it's fine. No biggie.
And Michael, is it Jazwinski, top tier? And it says pending. What does that mean?
We don't know where he's from. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Somewhere out there in the intra world.
Yeah.
And we got Philip Baldwin of Cambridge, Maryland, top tier. Awesome. And Gary Stone of, is it Laconia?
Yeah.
Laconia, New Hampshire?
I think
place
so.
I've never been. I've never been there. I've been in New Hampshire, but I've never been to Laconia.
Well, better than me. I've never been to New Hampshire.
It's one of those that I just named. So
right, yeah. No worries. LawAbidingBiker.com/Patreon. Pledge a certain amount per piece of content. No worries to you, because you could put a monthly cap. There are benefits such as t-shirts and stickers. You can get into that private Facebook Girl Patrol free zone. You get access to episodes like this months before everybody else. And of course, access to those ride meetup and events like we're going to do in Sturgis, and premium videos for those top tier members up on request. And we continue to grow, and the patron group continues to grow. And you guys right there, you've probably seen Matt Pass communicating in there. So yeah. All right. Now, one more thing, and we'll dive into that. And I just always want to mention a new free video. This is a big one, and it's blowing up too. When I do documentary films on our trips, I know that I've gotten better over time. I hope to continue to improve with these large-scale projects that really tax me mentally and physically, both filming them and then editing. But nonetheless, this one was for sale for about 1 year and 3 months. And I promised everybody on the YouTube channel that when I hit 100K, that I would take this off the for sale side of things and I would release it to everybody on YouTube. And I kept my promise, and I did so. And that is, you'll definitely want to watch it. I figured it was good timing. That's a lot of the comments I'm getting is everybody's like, you could not have picked a better time, because a lot of people are cooped up at home.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
At the time of the recording of this, for all you regular podcast listeners, it will be several months, but at the time we're in the kind of the heart of the coronavirus pandemic. So a lot of people are at home, and it's the 12-state cross-country motorcycle trip documentary film. It is now free on our YouTube channel, and make sure when you go over there to the Law Abiding Biker YouTube channel, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. We continue to snowball and grow over there, and we would love to obviously have as many subscribers as we can, so you're notified when we come out with new videos. All right, Let's do this. So we're going to dive in here, guys, and talk about Harley-Davidson. I know me and Matt have talked a little bit about this hit and miss and some marketing stuff in the past. So we're going to refresh some of that information, but I think it's a little bit deeper and bigger right now. And I have not talked to Matt about this, so I'm really curious to get some of his opinions. Now, if you have the note up there, I'm kind of going to go off that. It's the Evernote link.
The Evernote. Yep. I got it up.
Do you want to start and tell me if, I know you did this on a whim and I appreciate it. So don't hesitate to say, go for it. But, if you want to start out, or let's just kind of go in order and let's lead up to, maybe the end, what they could do better and what they're doing wrong. And let's kind of give people a history and get them up to date on what's actually been going on, if you catch my drift there. Sure.
In order of the Evernote here, correct?
Yeah. We'll kind of stay in general order of that. I think it'll give the audience a good understanding of why we're talking about what we're talking about.
Sure. So yeah, for a little while, and we talked about this on a couple episodes. So it's actually something that's been going on for a while, as the declining sales of Harley-Davidson, right? So what Harley has been facing for a very, very, very long time is their core customers are retiring. Basically what they're saying is, hey, the baby boomers, they're retiring, they're not buying as many bikes, so on and so forth. And we need to, how are we going to get more sales in general? We can kind of dive into what they've been doing and what we're doing as we go down. But basically what we're talking about is the declining sales of Harley-Davidson and what's now resulted of that, and what they've done. Has it worked or not? What has been the result of that as well as the CEO stepping down.
Yeah, good lead in here. So obviously the company's loyal base of older customers, everybody knows, they really drove those the Harley revival, as we all know it, during the 1980s and 90s. That was some of Harley's best times. And, even back then, it was a time of where you had to order bikes. You had to wait for bikes. I mean, you remember,
right. I do. I remember that. I remember my uncle waiting for his bike.
Yeah.
It was crazy. In fact, we went to Harley-Davidson a couple times so he could show everybody what he was going to get, and then you had to wait for his bike.
Yeah, I know. And you think about that, they really had it good for so long. Basically, customers, broke their doors down and begged for bikes, and that has changed drastically as there's been this kind of prolonged weakness and demand for those bigger, expensive touring bikes that make up the core, obviously, of Harley's model line. So there's been a lot of jockeying and adjusting. Harley's clearly aware of it, over time, and we're going to dive in a little bit deeper about a lot of the stuff they're doing. But ultimately, like Matt says, these customers are aging, and they're just simply purchasing fewer motorcycles. I will tell you up front that this is not, I don't want to seem like we're bashing on Harley. We love our Harleys. That's why I talk about it, and that's why on the YouTube video I get a little critical of them, because I don't want to see them. I want to see them survive. I really like the Harleys I ride, and my police bike's a Harley, and you got a stake in the game. But I will tell you that this is not unique to Harley. And this is one of the comments that I see a lot on the YouTube video. I even discussed it in the YouTube video. You get the guys that are like, oh, F this, I'm going to Indian, I'll never go back to Harley. I will just tell you that Harley, and I'll talk about it a little bit deeper later, but Indian, Polaris, who owns Indian, is having some of the same issues. Everybody who's making similar type bikes is struggling right now.
It's industry wide. It's industry wide. We see it more with Harley because, let's just face it, they were the cash kings. I mean, everything was sponsored by Harley. I remember the last run I went on or bike event where I really saw Harley-Davidson's heavy presence. They're not there. It's all aftermarket people with using their logo probably when they're not supposed to.
Right.
There wasn't a Harley-Davidson booth. There wasn't a Harley-Davidson test ride, a truck, nothing. Where are these guys?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is. And even though you say they still are technically, a huge company, and they still,
totally.
They still dominate the touring bikes. As far as touring bikes in the United States, they dominate, and so that hasn't necessarily changed, because as their sales went down, so did everybody else, and so they're still the big dog.
If you were to see some weird industry disruptor with fast food, you're going to talk about McDonald's. You're not going to talk about Carl's Jr.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
McDonald's is the king, right? It's going to show up there first, right? So it's everywhere. Harley, you know. So, but yeah, it is. You're right. It's industry wide.
Yeah, good.
It is.
Good. You're right. Yeah, that's a very good analogy, you know, talking about McDonald's. Yeah, that's just the way it goes. We always go after the big dog, right? So be critical of them. So let's do this. So let's just talk about Matthew Levatich. I'll clean this up a little bit. So if you didn't know, Matthew Levatich, everybody, was the CEO. They obviously needed to do something. He joined the company in 1994. He served as chief operations officer from 2009 to 2015. And then we all remember in 2015, they selected him as CEO. And it's because they needed change in the company. They realized that's really when you saw a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about that hasn't necessarily worked, in my opinion. But they selected him as CEO. They really wanted to change the company up. He had a lot of visions and things that he wanted to do and that he was pushing. So, you know, being with the company, I have to say, I'm not saying he's a bad selection. I don't know that much about him, but clearly somebody who's been with the company since 1994, and he was chief operating officer from 2009 to 15. He's got a lot of knowledge from the company. So I can't say that was a bad move on Harley's part. You know what I mean? The guy clearly is integrated and has a ton of knowledge within the company. So yeah, better than bringing somebody new in sometimes, I guess. So
yes, yeah.
So that's my thought, you know. Yes and no.
Yes and no. I'm afraid I don't, because I don't want to jump the gun here. But when things like that happen within a company, that makes, I think, corporate sense for a lot of different companies. I don't know if it makes all the sense in the world for Harley, only because, and we'll probably dive into this more as we go.
No, you go for it. This is good.
Well, Harley is a lifestyle. It's a symbol. It's a way of life. You're not developing cell phones. You know, you're not Sprint or Verizon where you take, this person's been COO for this many years and now they're going to lead our ship and you know, it's a little different to me. If things are already going bad, if anybody's been part of a corporate hierarchy, the CEO is only one person. Yes, you kind of have the culture and stuff that they breed, but that board of directors, COO, CEO, chief financial officer, chief operating officer, chief executive officer, all of these things, they all share a brain and they all share the similar things. So the fact that he was only there for 5 years doesn't surprise me, right? What were they expecting? You know, you took one of the same old dogs and put a new collar around his neck and said, go. So to me, it's a yes and a no thing. I think they did need some fresh blood.
That's a good no. And as I said that, I'm thinking, maybe that's not the best. Yeah, sometimes it is maybe good to bring a disruptor in. You know what I mean?
Let's face it, they are severely behind the curve here when it comes to so many things. I don't want to take any of your fire away. I'm going to let you start that conversation. No, but they are severely behind. So it's not just the CEO communicating this message. I doubt it very much. I'll shut up if tomorrow they're giving bikes to people on Instagram. Okay. But if they're not, so this other guy that's been part of I don't want to jump the gun. They're just going to have him be acting CEO for a little while. Same old suits just sitting there.
It's true. It's true.
Listen, I'm not saying they can't do the job. I don't know. I haven't been a fly on the wall. All I know is I've been part of the corporate hierarchy for a very, very long time, specifically sales and marketing, and penetrating new markets and finding different ways to sell and different ways to market, because we cannot do it the way we used to. Nobody can. And I just don't have faith in the same old folks that have been part of this. I doubt very much that they're not hiring talented people, sales, marketing, digital marketing folks, guerrilla marketing folks. I just don't think they have the permission to do their job right. Interesting. Yeah, you don't. And if they have the same marketing person that was doing the same marketing in the 70s, get out. Right. Get out, because it's advertising Easy Rider magazine isn't going to do it for you anymore, right? But I'm sure they're hiring these interns and hiring these kids out of college and hiring these experienced marketing folks. what I have found a lot, and I'm not saying Harley has done this, but what I have found is they never ask the boots on the ground. They never ask the people actually out there doing the job or being out there in the field or asking, hey, you know what, this hasn't been working. What do you think? Because I doubt very much there's so little online social media presence from Harley-Davidson or anything that no one is sitting there going, oh, we never thought to try Facebook ads. Oh, we never thought to try Instagram ads. We never thought to sponsor a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? People have to be thinking of this. They're just getting shot down. That starts with leadership. And maybe it was him doing it. But it takes more than just one guy. You know what I mean? I think, again, I'll pause there. Am I making sense?
Oh, yeah. No, I love it. That's why I like, we're just generally following this. You can dive in wherever you want. I'm not
cool.
On this episode, I'm not worried about it. But, if we can always go back to this too. But that's good. It actually makes me think because sometimes I oversimplify things, and I probably oversimplified because I like to just talk about their whole marketing department ought to be fired, and and they have no clue what they're doing.
Well, it definitely needs to be. It's
probably leadership. Yes, it's probably leadership.
It's got to be, because no one goes to work every day and goes, man, I hope I suck at my job today.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that they're frustrated. I think if I was working for Harley right now, I'd be frustrated.
Yeah,
I would be. It just being. I run a team of sales and marketing folks. That's what I do for a living. And if I wasn't able to really target an audience in a specific way that like they should be doing, like we do where I work, and even the recruiters at the police department do stuff online. Come on.
Yeah, right. It's true. Ours do.
Right.
Yeah.
Come on. So I just bet there's a whole department of folks going. I would be interested to see how many people are getting resumes of people trying to jump ship from Harley right now.
Yeah,
to have marketing experience, because it's either a hiring problem or it's a leadership problem. It can't be both. And I find it very hard to believe a company that large with that many employees, there's not one good idea amongst any of the ranks, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a bunch of old dogs sitting back with their cigar and scotch and going, it's all right. We don't need to do that,
Right.
None of that new age hippie stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I digress.
No.
It's damn near impossible. It can't be. They got to have talented folks. Give me a break. They've got to.
Oh, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Hypothetical. Hypothetical, and I know there's a whole bunch of things. It's just for fun, but let's just say their marketing, because and that's why I wanted you on this one, because you got such a background. But let's say Hardy comes to Matt Pass next week and says, "Listen, just you can't answer yet, okay?" And they go, "Matt, listen, I want you to gather a group of your team of whatever it is, and we're going to offer you X amount, and it's a plentiful salary, like it's okay. It's large, and you're looking at it, and they said, we want you to come in, and we want you to gut ours, and we're going to give you full authority to make all the decisions." Is that something? Do you even want that mess, or do you run from that? Do you run?
That is a shit sandwich of all.
That's what I do.
I think anyone that chases title and let's just put it this way: I've had enough savings in the bank. What the hell do I got to lose? Why not?
Okay, right. Give it a shot. Give it a shot.
The problem is there's more to it than that. The questions I would have to ask, right? And this is so hypothetical.
Oh, I know. That's why I told you. I'm just showing you a shit sandwich. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you say I got full control. What does that mean? I got full control to run with a bunch of ideas and they came and bring them to you and they get shot down, or do I literally have full control? Not only that, yeah, we would have to look. Does the swamp need to be drained or not? Is everyone here qualified or not? And two, let's talk about what kind of budget we have. Maybe we don't even know if it's a budget issue. It might be. I would doubt it very, very much. I mean, I think they can get all the investors in the world if they open that up. You know what I mean? But it can be done. There's absolutely zero way with a product like a symbol like Harley-Davidson. I think it would, whether myself or any other marketing professional out there would be a fool not to jump at that. Because if you can actually get full reign and full control to modernize what they're doing and what they're not doing, with a brand like that, how could you fail? I just don't see it failing. I really don't. So yeah, I would take that bet all day long.
Nice, dude. Yeah. I'll be in contact with my connections tomorrow. All right, I don't think they like me because I'm so critical of them. So that's good. It's good stuff. Let me. I'm going to just run down this, guys, and we're going to get deeper because that's really the crux. I have some questions for Matt, and then I have some opinions too. But they brought in Levatich. He authorized dozens of new models for both U.S. and foreign markets. We're going to talk what he's done the past 5 years, guys, to get you up to speed. They certainly see growth. The Harley obviously sees the growth opportunities in foreign markets and has clearly been targeting them. But that's tough because the competition from existing brands that are already solid in those markets, so they've struggled there a little bit. But it's worthwhile to try that, of course, is my opinion. They expanded output of motorcycles overseas, looking for more customers, especially in Asia. But the smaller motorcycles aimed at those markets are less expensive than the traditional Harley touring models, especially that they rely on in the U.S. That has hurt the company's overall sales revenue. They've been selling plenty, but it hurts the overall revenue. He also Levatich set a goal of selling half of Harley motorcycles overseas, and last year, 42% of Harley's sales volume was outside the U.S. He tried to get the company into different markets, such as adventure riding market with the Pan America, which is supposed to be released here in 2020. And of course, don't forget the Street Fighter to get into those sports bike market. There's no timeline on the release of the Street Fighter. And of course, the Livewire electric motorcycle, we all know about that, which had some major issues after launch on a recall on its charging system. I did do a YouTube video on the YouTube channel, or a YouTube about the Livewire, I should say. Levatich attempted to offset declining sales with cost reduction. So they closed its Kansas City, Missouri plant, as you all know, the assembly plant in 2019. They conducted several rounds of layoffs, voluntary buyouts for employees. They also shifted some of its production overseas as well to avoid tariffs. And that whole situation, a lot of you remember, that caused a lot of consumer and political heat for moving some of that production overseas. All right.
Remember what Trump said?
Yeah, no, I remember that little situation. Yeah. Remind me.
No American motorcycle should be made overseas.
That's awesome.
Not one. Ever.
That's right.
Said. Huge mistake. Huge
mistake. Oh, that's awesome. Harley-Davidson, the best. Nobody makes a better motorcycle. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. All right, so another big focus under Levatich leadership was to attract new riders. We're going to get into this. We're kind of, as I'm getting the audience kind of up, we're going to start diving in. He wanted to attract new riders, and it kind of seems as though they failed, and we'll clean that up a little bit. But it makes sense because, right, they need new customers because new customers equal new sales. Because they're losing the older companies, right? And they got to get a different demographic or they will go out of business, okay? So they tried to attract these new riders with what they call their ridership classes. Basically, it's a driver's ed class for new riders. The classes were not necessarily new, as the classes predated Levatich, but the company and he just renewed their focus on promoting those particular classes. Measuring progress, you got something to say about that? Measuring progress toward the ridership goal created tension between Harley managers and its dealers and investors. This festered over time. Dealerships complained. They complained the learn to ride classes were expensive and didn't bring enough new motorcycle buyers. Tensions between dealerships and Levatich rose even more as he brought many new models, engines to and made other attempts to revive sales, but they all seem to have failed. They created a fleet of smaller, cheaper bikes and Harley first electric motorcycles, such as the Street Series. However, none of these things seem to have really moved the needle in attracting younger generation. You go, because I know you have some stuff to say on that. I just wanted to finish it off.
I just, the rider thing. So I think it's really important to point out, and this is an area I got a lot of experience with when I was with AT&T. I was part of a division. I oversaw over about 350 dealers, right? DirecTV /AT&T, and there's dealer models. Now, I'm not saying it's the exact same, but what I'm saying is what I think is important for all the listeners to understand is that dealers are individual business owners, right? So when you go down to your local Harley-Davidson, you're not going to a corporate store. You're going to by franchise, in essence, that yes, someone owns, and it's a Harley franchise, yes, but it's just like McDonald's. A lot of McDonald's, and maybe I'm craving McDonald's right now.
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
It's the second time I brought them up, but it's a good because it's a good analogy because some of those are individually owned as well. They're part of McDonald's franchise, individually owned by an ownership group, right? So when these programs get rolled out, somebody in their big ivory tower, right, says, well, this is part of our dealer agreement. They are going to do this. This is ultimately going to affect and hold up the brand. So tell the dealers this is it's either highly recommended or you are going to do this or we're going to terminate your association and dealership.
Oh, wow.
Right? I'm not saying that's what happened here, but when you say there's tension, I just picture some master dealer agreement sitting on someone's desk and they're forced to do something. Now, who's this? And this is why I know there's tension. I would bet my year's salary that this is what happened in some fashion. Is they rolled it out. The dealers went, well, good, fucking pay, excuse me, but freaking pay for it then. And Harley went, oh, no, you're going to do this because this is going to help you sell bikes. And this is what you're going to do. You're going to offer this program. And they're going to go, so wait a minute, you're rolling it out as the decision, but we have to assume the cost of it. Yeah, you're a dealer. Do it. It's just going to sell you more bikes. And if you don't sell more bikes, you're just not a good salesperson. And I'm telling you right now, those types of things cause friction. So it's really important to know that just because there's a Harley-Davidson down the street and there's Harley-Davidson corporate, they're not the same thing. That it's owned by an individual entrepreneur. So when I hear that rider program, the driver's ed thing, I think it was a very, very good idea to a point, right? But how they rolled it out, the fact that there was tension just tells me someone was picking up the bill that shouldn't have to.
Right.
And I think that it was the dealers. Again, I would bet a year's salary that is what happened because why would that be a bad idea? That's actually a phenomenal idea. What Harley should do is say, hey, buy one, get one free, buy one, get two free, whatever. It's basic. Who wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle? No, basically at cost. Find a way of getting this to people, some form of marketing ploy. I think that's a fantastic idea. But they did it, I guarantee you, at the cost of their dealers.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like the dealerships were pissed because it was expensive. And I don't think they would care if it translated to sales, but they're tracking all that. And they just didn't feel after time, well, for whatever reason, they got people to the classes, and a lot of dealerships still do them, but it just wasn't translating to sales. Now our dealership doesn't even do it. So I don't know if it was just, certain size dealerships or what, but it wasn't every dealership because I don't remember ours ever doing it. But yeah, it's interesting. That tells you something that, that right there kind of, and that's interesting about they are the privately owned dealerships, right? Yeah. Private party opens up, but they have to follow a lot of the rules if they want to keep their license basicay. So yeah. Yep,
it's a dealer program, and it's tons of business, kind of giving everybody a look under the hood how the sausage is made, right? So lots of businesses around you actually work that way. A lot of the fast food chains, even a lot of the stores you're used to going to, dollar stores and things like that. You'd be surprised how much of them are actually individually owned and franchised, and they have these dealer agreements. And I'll tell you what, it's the best business model in the world. There's very, very little risk for the person at the top.
Right. And if you've ever looked into franchise stuff, there's little risk because the entrepreneur who's buying going to start that, one Starbucks here, one Starbucks there, they got to have net worths that are in the millions. I've looked into some of that. My daughter wasn't, because she's interested in owning a franchise, and she's just young, but she's always looking into stuff. And I said, oh yeah, let's find out what your net worth has to be. And it's insane because if it fails, they got to eat it all. You know what I mean? It's low risk to the company. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, I digress, but I think it's really important as we have these conversations to point that stuff out, because one of the points that I'm always making is the reason why the Harley dealerships around me are thriving is because they're investing a lot into auction bikes and reselling used bikes. There's a better margin on them. That is how they're covering the nut. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. It's not because they're selling new bikes.
Right. And clothing, right? Dude, they seem like a clothing company anymore because all the emails, I just sign up for their email list and they are pushing clothes. Like, I know the margins, the way they price and the margins have to be pretty 600%.
Good.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I could sell stuff in the Lab store with 600% margins. My God. There's only a few companies that can do, but that's dwindling. I think that's dwindling.
Yes, it is.
And I say that in my video, and I think some of the comments are like they kept marking clothing up, and people are just done with it. We're like, it was okay we're done. Like everybody's buying aftermarket stuff. They're not buying HD stamp stuff, except the hardest core of the hardest core. That's fine if you do, but I just can't do it anymore. I still buy a Harley shirt here and then. I'm not, that's fine. But I will not buy any of their boots, any of their coats, any of their pants because I can get way better shit for less money and better quality aftermarket.
Well, I was gonna say it used to be that aftermarket or secondhand stuff was crap.
Yeah, right.
And that's changed a lot in 20 years.
Yeah,
a lot. It's changed a lot in 10 years.
Our economy's so good, and the companies they're everywhere. Yeah.
Well, since most people can, most places can survive online, they can invest more in a more quality product because all they got to do is house it, and there's no overhead, right? And I'm saying, nobody knows I'm in my gym right now. I'm putting on my overhead, my little retail space.
I can see you. Yeah.
So the overhead expenditures, man, and yeah, so they can afford more quality product. But yeah, it's. I don't remember the last time I bought a HD. I think it was a onesie. For someone who has having a baby, I went in the Harley store and spent $30 on a onesie.
Yeah.
And that was on sale.
I bought one of those too in the past. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Okay, let's do this real quick, and then we're going to really dive into the meat and potatoes here. Hey, Bikeaholics, searching for new and exciting motorcycle products? Zero3D has the products you dream about for your bike. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for the Harley-Davidson and Honda Goldwing motorcycles. Zero3D's got your back with chrome and black parts, lighting, and other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing and more time riding. Zero3D has a design team of riders with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. Zero Gold Strike are the motorcycle LED lighting innovators for CAN bus plug-and-play system compatibility. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them. Email sales@zero3d.com. Give them a call, 715-808-0027. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership and ask for Zero or Gold Strike parts. A new leader has emerged, Bikeaholics. So check out Zero3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for the all-new Honda Goldwings. Better yet, help support us and check out our full line of Zero products over at lawabidingbiker.com/store. There you go, guys. All right, so diving right back in. Let me clean this up a little bit. So taking over for Levatich, because we're going to talk about that, but Harley's board said that director Jochen Zeitz is how you pronounce it. Jochen Zeitz.
Jochen Zeitz.
Jochen Zeitz would serve as acting CEO and board chairman as it looks for a new permanent CEO. Zeitz's background is in the sporting goods and lifestyle products. He served as CEO of Puma SE from 1993 to 2011, where he led a turnaround of that company when it was near bankruptcy, which is interesting. Okay, so here we are, Bikeaholics, all right, with all that's going on. I'm going to share, and this is where we're really going to get some conversation going, and we will try to stay on a timeline here, so because I can get going. So let me start by saying my thoughts is that I think Levatich really worked hard. I really do. I don't know him. I think he tried, and I think he tried extremely hard over the past 5 years to really revive the motor company, and I think he did some good things. He was, I think he was kind of really handed a shit sandwich, but that's what you get put in when you're a CEO. Sometimes they want you to come in, they want you to turn around the company. He did do that. I think it was smart for him to reach out to the different markets within the motorcycle market, such as adventure riding, sports riding, and electric. I think Harley has to do that. Those markets are huge. Adventure riding is booming. And so I think it's smart. They have to try to diversify. They can't pigeonhole themselves to just street bikes anymore. That's not the way it works. And they need to try to track the younger generation. I think he did a great job. They got to continue to try to do that. I just think they can do it a better way that actually works. And it definitely makes sense for him to target and grow overseas sales. That just makes common sense, right? And although it sucks, I don't think that, in my opinion, that he had a whole bunch of choices in closing the Harley assembly plant and laying off employees, or the company, maybe they've already would have gone bankrupt. Those are not easy decisions, and I never want to see people get laid off, so I don't take that lightly, but you have to companies are realigning all the time, and those things happen, or nobody has a job at all.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So,
It's an unfortunate thing. I've had to deliver those messages over the years. It's never fun. I've been laid off. It's not a fun situation, but it's not a personal one either. There's no money. There's no money. I think a lot of people don't understand, because it's definitely an emotional time and an impactful time. They got to remember it's not a personal thing. Right. And basically it's a portion of the company going out of business when there's a layoff. It means there's something that's not there anymore, something that's not being sold anymore. And there's a function of the business that just doesn't exist anymore. So therefore you're not needed. That's never fun to hear, that you're not needed, but in essence, that's what's happening. So when they shut that down, what we really need to really look uphill at what that means. Yeah, we're seeing all the shit that just rolled down, but looking uphill, that means there's no longer a store up there. There's whatever was being sold doesn't exist anymore to justify all of those workers and all of those employees. That's scary. That's scary.
It is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's a mini shutdown. It literally a mini shutdown. Well, the plant did shut down, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, right.
It's a mini closure, like completely. Even though Harley's still around, that was still a section of the business completely gone. So that's definitely relevant to this conversation.
Yeah, it is.
And everything that's going on.
It's a huge downsize. And, at the end of the day, I'm not even, I can't even consider a company that big. But, even here at Lab, it's all about, I got Rick and Brian running the store, and Matt helps me with audio. And so I have, we have employees, but it's all about how much revenue is bringing in and what you can afford. And I would love to hire more people because I'm buried and I get like 5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep a night, but I can't do it because there's got to be, and it's such a grand scale. So I'm certainly not comparing it, but at the end of the day, if they look at numbers and they need to shave the fat, so I call it, and to let the company survive, this is nothing new. It is what they have to do. So,
and that's an unfortunate thing that had to happen, but
it is.
Where do they go from here? And I think that, are we?
No, it's okay. My question to you is, I talked about everything Levatich did over the past years. So just dive into that. Is there anything that you?
I'd love to.
What do you think? What do you think of him and his efforts? Or do you think they were in vain and he's full of shit, or what?
Well, I think it's 5 years. I know it sounds like a long time, but it's really not. It's really not a long time, especially acting as CEO. I know there's been shorter stretches in CEOs' time frames at different companies and stuff, but it really wasn't that long to really see any yields of results. What are they looking for? Well, if they were looking for a complete turnaround in 5 years, well, I think that's kind of unrealistic. It didn't take 5 years to plummet down the rabbit hole. It's not going to take 5 years to climb out of it. So I think there's a little bit more to the story here. Again, I think maybe it's a shift in talent. I thought that everything that had happened from then till now, or really from around 2012 till now, and before his reigning 5 years, Harley's been behind the mark. So I think that he's taking a fall. Let's think about it. We were just talking about it. Lab started 2013, right? Online content, influencers, all of this stuff has been around for a long time. It wasn't this past 5 years of failure that has led to Harley definitely falling underwater, right? Or at least heading that direction. I don't think it was just his 5 years. What I do think was crazy was all the gum that was being thrown to the walls. I understand that there's different markets for different bikes and different things. But it's like he got all these ideas. Everyone bring me an idea. Everybody bring me an idea. Quick, have them on my desk by morning. He goes, great, I love it. Fucking go do them all.
Yeah.
if these are the ideas that made it, what were the ones that didn't?
Right.
You know what I mean? I really want to know, because to me, I think he just said, you know what? Go do it all and see what sticks. And maybe that was his downfall.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot be a practicing business of your core market and your core customers being one thing and then go, in 5 years, we're going to do an electric bike, we're going to do an adventure bike, we're going to do this bike, we're going to do that bike, and go do it, and we're going to be quadrillionaires at the end of it all. What are they thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of that, their marketing wasn't even keeping up. You know, the live wire was popular for about a week and trending on social media and then online, and then you didn't hear about it anymore. If they were really smart, what they would have done was partner with damn Tesla, like they did with Ford, right? And made, you know, F-150, F-250 Harley-Davidson model, Tesla motorcycle model, you know, a Tesla Harley. That would trend. I guarantee it. If Tesla had a motorcycle, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, people would buy it. Because
you got two companies pushing it now. Tesla's huge. They bring in a whole new demographic, right?
It's not just a demographic. They know what they're doing. You trust Tesla. I don't trust Harley to build an electric bike. Do you?
Right.
Well, I don't think I want to trust Harley to build an electric bike.
Clearly, they had a recall on it out of the chute on the charging system.
What I'm getting at is you have to think outside the box. If anybody ever found me on LinkedIn, they'll find an article I wrote. It's literally about thinking outside the box, right? And here's what I've discovered over the years, especially when it comes to sales and marketing, individuals in general. Now, I run teams of remote employees, and what that means is they don't go into an office every single day. So the different personality altogether, you got to be able to trust these folks, things like that. Basically, what I'm getting at is I have been brought in by organizations. I have been brought in places, say, Matt, we want you to turn the sales team around, this, that, and the other. And I go, okay, great. Show me who you hired, who's working, what's going on. And what I've seen is corporations, and they hire someone who looks like them, who talks like them, who walks like them, moves like them, went to the same school as them, same Ivy League same. Basically, they're just hiring more people. Now, I always put it this way. There's pit bulls and there's chihuahuas, right? Right? You cannot take a chihuahua and give it permission to be a pit bull and it magically turns into a pit bull, right? You know, and and it just doesn't work because we all seen a chihuahua pretending to be a pit bull, and it's kind of pathetic, right? And this is when people have brought me in or I've consulted, I've always given this analogy, they think it's funny. They go, well, what's your point? I said, you can't hire a bunch of people or bring in a bunch of people and give them permission to think outside the box. It doesn't work that way. It's either inbred in you or it's not, period. So anyways, I tell you that story because I think that that's what's happening here. You can't just bring in all these people or these same old dogs and just say, okay, everybody's got permission to think outside the box. Everyone's got this, everybody. And you're just going to have a bunch of people trying to meet the mark and they just don't have the talent to do it.
Yeah. Right? Or so the experience.
Or the experience.
And yeah. And if they've never seen outside of their little thing, you know,
right.
Yeah.
I think that he had great intentions. He's obviously a smart guy, obviously experienced. He's not an idiot, right? But sometimes you just don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And that's a very dangerous thing. And I think that he thought he knew what he was doing. I think and again, not just this 5 years, I think the whole team, that whole upper leadership, that whole upper board probably needs a washing.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
No,
that's my opinion. Why? How else? How else are you saying here's 16 different projects that are going to take tons of company dollars and capitals and revenue when they could be focusing their attention on their core market and the Harley way of life and really doing things that matter. But he spread all these projects, electric bike, adventure bike, all the tiny bikes go to Asia and sell in Asia, and just the hopes that you're going to find something that works. Come on. That's not how I get. That's not how you lead a corporation.
Yeah.
So to that extent, yeah, I can get it. I get it. Was he asked to step down? Was he forced to step down? What's the story?
I think he was. I think it was. I think that was a two-way road. You know what I mean? I think he was. A lot of people are commenting that says he was actually asked to step down too. You know what I mean? I think. Anyway,
hopefully I didn't ramble and confuse a bunch of folks, but
no, that's why I brought you on. I love it. You bring in good insight.
It's just something fishy for me, and I think that every corporation needs a fall guy too. I'm not saying he was a fall guy. He obviously made some decisions that didn't work. But again, so let me ask you, Ryan, do you think the whole dilemma that Harley finds itself in now is due to the past 5 fiscal years?
No, I don't. I think it's well beyond that. They've been effing up for a lot more years than 5 years. Along with the market, not their fault. The demographic, correct. But on top of it, they've escalated it by not keeping up with a lot of what you talked about, with the appropriate marketing for today. They're, in my opinion, from what I watch of them and I follow them on social media, is they're like here's how I say. I think you'll like this. My analogy is it's like your 70 or 80-year-old grandpa coming into the party and he's all of a sudden wearing, cool sunglasses, trying to look young, trying to look hip. And he thinks he knows how to be hip, and he thinks he knows whatever all the kids are doing. He wants to be like the kids, but he can't be like the kids because he's not one of the kids. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that makes sense. Like
it does make sense. And just to kind of ride on your coattails there. Here's also, it's almost like when you see their social media presence and their marketing, it's like your 80-year-old grandfather just got a Facebook account.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, dude. No,
they're on the smartphone. Hold on a second now. I can hear you. I can't see you. Which button do I push now here? And
I'm going to get on the Instagrams and make a post, and everybody's going to buy Harleys. Yeah. God, if they used it right, which we're going to dive a little bit deeper into, if they used it right, I really believe they could turn things around. I do want to dive in a little bit deeper to that, but I will say Levatich, he did an interview several years ago, actually when he first kind of took over as CEO. I'm not going to play the clip, but he basically made a comment that he was asked, I know you're doing the new bikes and you're going after this younger demographic, and what about your core customers? He said, we're not running away from our core customers. We're not. We're just trying some other things. So in my opinion, I do believe that. I don't think he meant it. I don't think he did it on purpose. I don't think anything was intentional. It's exactly what he did do, in my opinion. He absolutely, and I've said it before, I believe that's exactly what Harley-Davidson has done, even beyond what Matt asked me, the 5 years. They've absolutely 100%. They've left us, the core customers, done in their pursuit to be hip and be new and try to tackle, which is so important. And it's so important to grab this younger generation and bring in these new buyers. But in the meantime, they've really, and I know just from the comments, like I said, over 250,000 views and like 5,000 comments. That's insane, that video. There's very interesting patterns in what people believe. And that's kind of the consensus, is we just don't feel like we're important anymore. And the thing is, I'm 47, and I look in the private Facebook group, I get it that there's an age and a demographic that is phasing out. Okay. That's clear. I don't think anybody denies that fact that they're phasing out. But I think that just from what we see, it's not phasing out as quickly as they think, because I'm looking in the private Facebook group and other places that have a social media presence. I see guys older than me buying brand new Harleys all the time and posting them in the Facebook group. There is still a shitload of money to be made by those people. So that what I'm trying to get to is, that's okay. Go. Have your marketing team that does all this new wave, stuff. I shouldn't say new wave. They should be doing all that, but goes after this new generation. But in the meantime, you should have a very specific department in your marketing that continues to basically soak what they can out of their current. And I don't mean that in a bad way. That's what a company does. You're looking to make sales to that group of people that still has a lot of money. they're still buying Harleys all the time. They're buying parts. They're doing all the stuff. They will eventually phase out, but you better enjoy it and while you can, and not give up on them, because they're losing a lot. A lot of people are turning away to Indian and things, whether that's right or wrong, are turning away. So I got a lot more to say, but I'll let you jump in if you have anything to piggyback.
No, I 100% agree with you. And the thing of the matter is I think Harley overcomplicates some things sometimes too. The fact that they think they have to change that. It's very smart to have introductory bikes, meaning a more affordable model, right? You have 3 series in cars and you have 7 series in cars, right? You fresh out of college, buying your first car, you buy the 3 series. You've been doing it for 20 years. You get promoted, you end up buying the 7 series, right? I get it. That is definitely important. But the fact that they are going so extreme, oh no, we got to change the look, the feel. It's actually got to be different. It's got to be electric. It's got to be this little thing no, just strip down a Softail. Mm-hmm. Just strip down a Softail. I don't, you know what I mean? Just, I think it's, and the whole boombox thing, just partner and just put Apple Play in there, would you?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? People want to plug in their smartphone. That's what they want to do. And they want all their apps to be on there and stuff like that. Because I got to tell you what, this thing right here does more than that damn boombox does anyways.
Of course, yeah. And better.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody should be screwing with it while they're riding, but you know what I mean? But if you just like a car, you plug it in, it has only the functionality, can go through your headset, whatever, you know? I just don't think it has to be that complicated. No. Therefore, it doesn't have to be that expensive.
Yeah.
So
now the new, they are upgrading there, because the new GTS unit of the boombox that came out in 2019 and newer does have Apple CarPlay out of the gate. Right. Yeah. So
it's still buggy. It's still buggy.
The whole boombox system is still, exactly.
Yeah. If it was just a simple, like what's going in all these Hyundai Sonatas, you plug your phone, boom, there it is. It's easy and it's cheap.
Yep.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
It doesn't have to be that complicated. I think it's very easy to grab a hold of the new generation. The fact that there's in my opinion, two different reasons why people felt like Harley was leaving them in the dust. One is they absolutely stopped marketing to them. That's number one. Number two is when they started working on these other models and doing what they were doing to target these youngins, they thought, well, F us, right? I mean, what? No, we don't want that bike. Hell, they don't even want that bike, right? They went so extreme. That's what I mean by extreme, right? That's what they assumed. I can tell you that when my son becomes of age, he is not going to want this new wicked futuristic Harley-Davidson. He's not the one his dad rode. I want the one my dad rode. I want the one my grandfather rode, right? So why are they getting away from that? I don't think what's your opinion on that? I don't think they should get away from that.
No, I think, and that's my whole point, I guess, is they got so passionate about grabbing this. They could have still did that, and they should still do. They got so passionate that they were going to get so laser focused on the new generation and getting new buyers that are going to replace us, that they forgot about us, and that we're still here and we're still loyal and we're still spending an ass load of money, which is actually dwindling because people are getting pissed because of what they're doing. They should go after all that. They should work hard at that, but they just got to get back to their core customers.
Well, we're encouraging the future riders too, though.
Exactly.
So, and if we don't like,
yes.
Again, if I was a multimillionaire, maybe I'd have a live wire in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
just sitting there, like Jay Leno.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In all of his collection.
Novelty
maybe
bike.
I would. Yeah, exactly. It is a damn conversation piece. Maybe I would do that, but my son's not going to grow up watching me ride a live wire. It's not going to happen. He's going to see me on an ultra limited or something else. You know what I mean? That's what happens. And I haven't met anyone. Rarely do I meet someone that says, I just grew up and nobody in my family rode.
Yep.
Never saw a motorcycle ever. I just decided one day I'm a Harley enthusiast.
Yep, it's true.
Rarely do I see that. Rarely. It's usually, oh man, when I was young, my uncle had one.
Yes.
My mother hated it. He used to pull up. It was loud. Obnoxious. She never let my dad have one, but damn, my uncle gave me a ride on that and I was hooked.
Yep.
Right? That's kind of how those stories go. That is what happens. until you get the story of, I just remember when my Uncle Pat came up with his live wire and he strapped me on the electrical box and zoomed down the street. That's not happening. That's not happening. I don't know.
No.
Paying attention to your core audience, your core customers, is important for many, many reasons. It's a legacy. Harley has been passed down. It's a way of life. It's a passion, right? You pass down guns and ammo, same thing. You don't just, sometimes someone will go, man, I never had guns growing up. So I went, I took the course, I learned, and now I have a firearm and I'm an enthusiast. Rarely does that happen. It's usually a passion and something that your father shows you or your mother shows you generation to generation. This is a firearm. It's not a toy. We hunt, we fish. It's something that's passed down. Harley is the same way. Am I off track here? You know what I'm saying? I think that, so when you say screw you, right? If the NRA suddenly said, F our loyal Second Amendment folks, octagon barrel carrying.
They're getting old. They're going to die off.
Yeah, they're to die off. You know, we need to, they develop these pink, or I don't know, these rubber looking things.
Nerf guns.
These Nerf or something. I don't know. I can tell you there'd be gun enthusiasts everywhere going, well, F me, right? No, F you.
Yep.
Right. You know what I mean? I'm not joining the NRA again. You don't support us. You're after 18, you're 21 year olds. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but
no, it's funny.
When something has a passion and a following and a lifestyle associated with it, you can't just treat it like the next new smartphone coming out and a Verizon wireless promotion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally, man.
Again, that you have to stay true to your core because new riders coming up, even if they can't afford one, they're going to want that big touring bike.
Yep.
They're going to still want a Harley, not whatever they're developing, you know? So anyways, I'll pause.
No, it's good. And then I got a funny story that we'll dive in a little bit deeper and then we'll wrap it up. So let me do this real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Bikeaholics, you searching for the easiest and quickest attachable luggage system for your motorcycle? Rick Rack has just what you're looking for. Forget all those frustrating straps and bungee cords that can come loose and slap your paint. Check out one of Rick Rack's awesome quick attach strapless luggage rack systems. This father-son team designed something really special. You can't find it anywhere else. Yep, these guys ride, so they truly understand the needs of bikers. Yep, the Rick Rack quick attach system is strong, durable, and secure with a lockable system. Also, check out their full line of quality touring bags to accompany your quick detach system. Once you use Rick Rack, you'll never go back. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics? Head over to the Law Abiding Biker store. Check out our full line of Rick Rack systems and bags. Of course, we'll be at the Rick Rack booth and the Zero booth in Sturgis for a regular public meet and greet. So let me tell you this. I don't want to go too long because I know you got other things to do. I can keep you here all night. That's what I got to keep us on track. So
hold on real quick, though. Quick. I think a lot of people don't realize, unless they've ever watched one of your YouTube channel or a live show, that every time Ryan does like the Rick Rack talk and everything, it's actually live. You're doing that in real time. I think when you listen to the podcast, you just think you're pausing, pushing play. Yeah. And it's a pre-recording of you. That is just so funny. I've noticed that every single time we've gotten together on these things, but I've never mentioned it. So those of you listening, it's actually pretty impressive. He's doing that live. Like I'm watching him do that. It's not a recording. So that whole advertisement, that whole, heads up about, Rick Rack and everything, that's all live.
That's so hilarious, cool. Dude, because I don't even think about it. Yeah, good point, dude.
You go like it's pre-recorded in your brain and you just go. It's pretty funny. So.
Yeah, that's interesting.
A little Easter egg for those listening,
Yeah, no doubt, dude. No, it's fun to hear that because I don't even think about it. And I do have pre-recorded ones too, but I stopped. I don't use them because I feel like each time I do it, I put in a little something different and it just seems more natural to me. I don't know. I try to give the sponsors, a little more live kind of thing.
I think it's great. I think it's really cool. So that's actually really neat. So, and I realized that the other day when I was listening, because you roll right back into the episode, and I'm like, yeah, that one was live too. I can always tell.
Yeah,
but
right.
But I don't think a lot of people think about it because I've been on these with you. So it's just funny.
Yeah. So no bumper or anything. It's just go right into it. Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, sorry, gang. I thought that was a funny thing to point out.
Love it. So interesting. In this, just to finish off here with some a few things. They must have spent just an inordinate amount of money on these marketing campaigns that they did. And they just, for the most part, to me, seem like they've been very, very ineffective. So, what I say, and I said it in my video, is that, nobody is interested, Harley-Davidson, if we're talking directly to Harley, we'll do it like that. Nobody's interested in extreme sport athletes that are non-Harley riding, that you give them a free bike and you go to the X Games and you have skateboarders jump over the Harley. That they don't, these people, we know we're some of the most truest people. You can't market to us like that. Like I know that guy doesn't give two shits about your Harley. That we know that it's not, you may be able to do that, and I'm with the younger generation. You can't do that with your core audience. We know that's fake. We know they're not real bikers, and so don't do that. Don't give it to rich Hollywood stars, overprivileged, pampered Hollywood stars that don't give a shit about your Harley either. We know that. This is a different day and age. That kind of marketing is gone. You see more and more smart companies, big companies, going away from that because it's not effective anymore. However you want to look at the world, we're in a different time. There's more YouTube hours watched than traditional TV these days. People are in online communities. They're on YouTube, and they're not on that old-fashioned throw up an ad and hope that at least 2%. Like if you throw up a TV ad, let's just say a mattress. If you get on TV and somebody's watching TV and you throw up a mattress ad, you're just shooting in the dark because you don't even know much of that audience is even interested. Same with a Harley commercial.
You want to know a fun fact about linear television, only because I'm in the industry.
Yeah.
Did you know there has been hundreds of thousands of people literally unsubscribing from traditional linear cable satellite TV, hundreds of thousands.
Me.
And do you know how much revenue has been lost in the industry?
Oh God, I could only
Zero.
Oh right,
zero revenue. Zero revenue has been lost because the companies are selling the internet instead, right?
Yes.
And they've lost. So let's just say I'm signed up for a triple play or a double play, right? Because triple play, who even says that anymore? I mean, I think people have a home phone just because it's there, but most people use their cell phones, right?
Right.
So, which is why Xfinity, Comcast is going to the mobile model. You notice that Comcast has phones now. But the thing is, let's just say I have internet and TV, and I cut the cord, as they say, right? And I only have the internet product now, right? Meaning I only have data coming in. Whoever my provider was has literally lost $0 for me not paying them that video dollar anymore.
Yeah, interesting.
In fact, they're probably making more money because they're not supporting. In fact, I know they are. They're not supporting it. They're not. Anyways, this is a fun Easter egg because it's relevant to how Harley is doing the advertising. If you're using linear TV as a platform to advertise, just stop.
Right.
Just stop. Unless you need the tax write-off, just stop.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're just trying to cover your basis and your tax bracket, you can afford to do it just to cover all bases, fine. But if that's your primary source or you're measuring success off your marketing on TV, I'm telling you, that is how non-critical television is anymore.
Right.
Traditional television.
Yes.
People still want content. They still want content. They just want it differently.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with traditional radio, which has been dying for years. It's just, it's moved over to podcasting, and a lot of sponsors are moving their money because, again, when you sponsor Law Abiding Biker Podcast, 100% of this audience really, really is passionate about motorcycle products. If you throw that on traditional radio and they can't even tell how many people they have listening because it's not downloads, it's all ambiguous numbers, you might get part of your audience that morning that's driving to work that gives two shits about a Harley. Where you come to an audience like this, we can tell you exactly how many downloads we have, and we can tell you that this audience really wants to hear.
It's a streamlined target.
It is.
It's a streamlined target, and it's a relevant audience. And I guarantee you're not going to allow somebody who, I mean, as tempting as it would be.
Oh, we've turned down lots of people. Yeah.
Right. You're not going to have some foot powder ad sponsor on here. You're just not going to do it because it's not relevant to your content and to the enterprise that you're trying to create.
Exactly.
You're going to have relevant. Now, if somebody comes up with a really cool dent removal product, chip removal, paint polish that's relevant to your Harley, sure, right? You'll entertain it. But you're not going to You're not going to say, "Oh yeah, bring your foot powder over here, put you on law-abiding bike, get out of here."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, it's and so on that line, and I know we're doing good, but we'll wrap it up. But and they just make all these big mistakes, and everything I just talked about are the big, and everybody's seen it, and it pisses everybody off, and everybody knows it doesn't speak to the core audience. They need to get back to connecting with, and I said this, I don't care if Harley ever contacts me. I've done this for 7 years. Everything we've done, we've built without zero help from Harley. So I'm certainly not pleading for them to reach out. I'm just saying they need to do what all the other big companies, smart companies, especially in different industries. And you look at the tech companies, they are pre-releasing stuff to YouTubers, and they're pre-releasing stuff to podcasters. And because they know how laser focused those communities are and how big they are and how much YouTube is being watched and the podcast being listened to, that is where the core audience is. Those are the people that you need to speak to. That's where they're at. And they're not doing that. And they literally have reached out to, I kind of scour, and they don't even get involved in these communities. And you look at a video like I made that just got over, and it's still growing, over 250,000 views on something that's Harley centric, and 5,000 comments. These are all customers for the most part. Mm-hmm. If you don't take that into account and you're too ignorant to look at that and realize that you need to change, then they're destined, in my opinion, for a slow death. Now, another really interesting thing, and this is just one example, and I'm going to stop. So they go, and this is their most recent debacle. In my opinion, you can disagree with me. I'm a big boy. They go and they take the live wire and they give it to these two cats, and it's nothing off their back. These two guys, and they did the movie. People are going to scald me for not knowing this. They're going to and I'm sorry guys, I just don't have time to watch all this stuff. I'm too busy creating for you. But they did that movie, The Long Way Around. It's an adventure. Their adventure. Yep. What's his name? McHugh or
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, McGregor. Thank you. So, and again, no skin off their back. It's not about them. But Harley goes, this is how stupid they are. They take a electric motorcycle that has a very small range, like 75 miles, and they go to two guys that do adventure rides, and they said, "Hey, why don't you take our electric bike and do an adventure ride from this very long trip with our electric bike, and we'll sponsor you, and this is going to get people to buy our electric bike." God knows how much money they dumped into those guys, and to make that movie on a bike that needs like trucks with batteries following him. Like, why would you take that bike and give it to them? Why don't you give them one of your touring bikes, or give them the Pan America when it comes out, a gas bike?
Right.
These aren't city riders. These guys do long distance riding, and you give them the stupidest bike. Like, how does that sell a electric bike? It just absolutely, and I'm going to shut up, it blows my mind how dumb that is.
I couldn't agree more, and this just shows how busy I've been. I had no idea that even came out.
Yeah, bro.
Is it on Netflix?
I think the movie's out now.
The Long Way Around and The Long Way Down were the two that they did before. I watched both of those.
Yes. I forget what they call it. It's out, dude. Just search it. I believe it's out now. I know they were filming it, and it's out. It's a fact, dude. Is that it just boils my blood that a company can be that stupid.
So irrelevant. You want to know what would have been more relevant? Having some of your commuters in like San Francisco or Bay Area.
Some YouTuber in San Francisco.
Some YouTuber. Yes, absolutely. Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
That would have been their audience. There's nobody that's watching that documentary going, "Can't wait to get me one of those."
Everybody thinks it's stupid.
It's stupid. What?
Yeah. Oh. They had to have support trucks and battery trucks. Like, that's not what people are going to have to ride cross country on this thing. It wasn't designed as a touring bike. Like, it was the most, just when I think they couldn't step on their dicks anymore, I'm just like, I literally one night I walked out. I'm like, I saw a little trailer thing for it. I'm like, I just walked out. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? They could have taken all that money and come to any, and I'm not saying they should come to me. They probably don't like me. They could come to any of these other Harley communities, online or YouTube channels, and could have got 10 times the amount
I remember,
than those two.
I remember, man, it was just over a year ago we had done that other, we were talking about some of these similar topics, and I had brought some statistics and numbers. I wish I had them in front of me, but basically it boils down like this. The amount that it costs in print ad materials and marketing things and all this stuff, when all you have to do is take a bike, all you're in it is creating it and shipping it. Get it to these folks. They spend the money on their own video equipment. They're paying for their own internet. They're willingly talking about it for you. They're not on your payroll.
They have your audience.
Shit. I mean, think about it. It's the perfect thing. The only thing you're out is the cost of the bike.
Right.
That's it. And shipping. And someone to go sign here, please. I mean, give me a break.
That's a drop in the bucket.
It's a drop. And compared to what they've spent on marketing, I guarantee, right? And I'm going to have to go back through episodes and find out where this one is. So I remember actually bringing statistics and numbers, how much money was actually spent on average on marketing in this way. And it's an asinine amount. Think about it. Take $10,000, $30,000 bikes, okay? So what, 300 grand?
Yep.
Right? Come on, right? It sounds like a lot. It's a lot of money to me. Holy crap, it's a lot. It's a house, right? But to someone like Harley, who's probably spending millions.
Oh.
If you're spending millions in marketing, take $1 million worth of bikes. So $1 million divided by the retail value, and they're not in at the retail value. They're in at the manufacturer. Take $500,000 worth of bikes. Fine, at cost. Get it out to these platforms, and they are going to get so much more of a return out of that much of an investment. And you don't got to babysit it. You just watch it. You give it to someone and you let them go.
Yep.
Think about it. If someone was to give you a bike and say, Ryan, I want you to review this.
And you hype it, you pre-release it, and you give it to them a week early like everybody else does so they can have the video. And what Apple does and a lot of the tech companies like DJI, they give it like a week early and they put a gag order on the YouTuber. And they say, we're going to give it 2 weeks early. We want you to get your video made, but you can't release anything about it. And then everybody, if you watch that tech industry, right on the day and the time, all of a sudden, boom, 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 it uploads. And they have... because they can say on like their other social media, I have a pre-release model, but I can't tell you about it. They hype it. Bam. Everybody releases their videos, and search and Google and the algorithms just blow up. And these companies have been doing this for like 10 years, and Harley can't figure the shit out. They invite YouTubers like to their, Harley does every year. They do their show where they invite all the dealerships to go see all the new lines. They invite the YouTubers and the podcasters. They fly them down and all that, because they know while they're down there, they're going to create hype and people on your dollar. Oh God, on your dime, dude.
Right, you're gonna do
totally.
It, right? If they were to fly you out, you would buy a new camera. You take it with you. You would
absolutely.
You're putting in labor.
Totally.
Right? I mean, but that's what they haven't figured out. It's the best marketing ever because it costs you nothing,
and they trust
the product you're gonna make anyway.
Exactly. And it's an audience that's know, like, and trust. Like you said, I wouldn't put things on this channel that wouldn't serve the audience, right? So people come to know, like, and trust. They follow a influencer. And
you know what else? We do? We listen to the ad because it's relevant. We don't pause or fast forward or skip.
Exactly.
Right. I actually want to know what CO3D is doing. I actually want to know. Like if you're like, oh, I have something cool that's coming out from, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to listen. To me, it's not an ad.
Right, exactly.
To me, it's not an ad. It's relevant, and I want to know.
Yep.
When you can get an audience going, please sell to me, I want to listen.
Exactly. I know.
That's dreamland for a sales and marketing person. That's dreamland.
And the smart companies have all figured this out long ago. And imagine how much they spent to do that dumb movie. And again, I'm not talking about the guys that ride. That has nothing to do with them. And they're never going to sell one electric motorcycle because of that. And they could have taken all that money. Yeah, you do the pre-release, you give it early, you invite them to, they do that all the time. DJI, Apple, they fly people out to their events. They want them there because they're all vlogging about it. They're all talking about it. They're all Instagramming about it. And it's it's for a plane ticket and a hotel. I mean, these companies, they spend more a day on coffees and lunch than doing that for, anyways, we gotta, dude, and I've said it before, I just can't believe it. And I don't want to see them go under. And I just can't believe they need to hire you, dude. They need to hire you. You need to get a team of, like, call it the A team, dude, and go in there and just knock heads, dude. You're big enough, dude. I see you on that. But you just go knock heads and shit. You knock people around. But
I honestly, I don't think it's not rocket science. I think that obviously I'm oversimplifying it, but seriously, they just simply need to adhere to 2020 Marketing 101.
Yep.
And just or allow some of the talent that they've hired to do their job. Because I guarantee you, there's somebody there working there that hell might even be listening to this when it comes out going, oh my gosh, I just wish they would let us off our leash.
Yep.
And would just listen to our ideas. Because I'm telling you, I doubt very, very much. Because right now it's like a bunch of preschoolers are running it. I think they can do a better job.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? If you were to let preschoolers run with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I have to say it's either a hiring issue and they just don't hire talented marketing folks, which I doubt very, very much, or it's a leadership issue.
Yep.
They need to let them off the leash. They really do. What do they have to lose? They're already losing.
Right, exactly. And, and as even aside from marketing, as we wind down here, and it's not only been that, forgetting about the core customers, there's just, if you just read a lot of the comments and a lot of the emails that I get, they've really abandoned their core customers. The dealerships, that's one of the reasons LAB, obviously, in the day, teaching you how to do an oil change so you can save $300, charging $300 for an oil change, overpriced at the dealership, marking up your clothes, not treating people well. Back in when they came out with the Milwaukee 8, they started voiding. They're forcing dealerships to void warranties over trivial items. It's just, they're just absolutely shitting on their customers along with horrible marketing. And you put that package together, and to me, it's just destined for continued failure unless a new CEO can just look at the video that I made, the 250,000, the comments, and just go, we got a problem. We got a problem here. This community is not happy. You're talking about a lot of bikers there. That's a large, when you talk about how niche this, honestly, this podcast and our YouTube channel is pretty niche. You're only going to grow to a certain size because not everybody rides Harleys, not everybody rides bikes. It's not like, some pop star, you're very niched into that market. And so I can't believe that they wouldn't, look at that and just go, oh my God, and here's what we got to do right now, guys. Yeah. We got to connect again.
And I just think that again, I lean on saying it's not rocket science, and I am oversimplifying, but they will target a lot of their current customer or their core customers just by having a better online digital presence in general. Well, look at us. We're on a podcast. We're YouTube. We're, you know what I mean? You're doing the closed Facebook group, Instagram. It's like they thought all of their core customers were not on the whole interwebs, right? They're all deceased and gone and too old, right? No, we're all. This is just where we're hanging out.
Exactly.
We're not. You know what I mean? DVRs fast forward through commercials now. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Right? Ever since TiVo came out 20 years ago. Like, living to now. So I want to see them thrive. I'll just echo what you said. This isn't a Harley bashing conversation. We're giving constructive criticism because I want them to survive. Right? It's one of those oxymoron things. You buy a hunting license to go hunting because it pays for all the different biologists to go out there and make sure there's plentiful animals so you don't overhunt them, right? It's just one of those things. We got to be critical because we want them to survive. So hopefully they listen,
We wouldn't be talking about it if we didn't care, right?
Yeah,
exactly. That's parents, right? We wouldn't be talking to you if we didn't care. At my last big thing here, not big, but, if they would just do something simple, like, and I see it with YouTube, I'll just talk about YouTube. YouTube was making a lot of changes. And being a YouTuber, I am privy to a lot of stuff behind the scenes on that. And they advise us of what they're doing. And I tell you, communication goes a long ways. And they made a bunch of changes really quick. And people were absolutely pissed at YouTube. And even some creators were looking at some different platforms, and it kind of got blown up. And YouTube realized really quick that they had a problem. What did they do? Mm-hmm. They took some of their head people that run the YouTube division of Google, and they literally reached out to some very prominent YouTubers. They literally went to their studios, sat down, and said, just ask me what you want. Because, and these YouTubers just asked, these are what people think, and this is why people are mad. And they just talk like a human being to the very core audience. They found where they needed to go. They found where the audience was, and they just talked to the community as a person, and it was open game. And you know what? Just doing that, because you see companies make decisions and you don't really know why, because there's not communication. Yep. And after I watched a couple of those, I was like, I actually sided with them on a few things. I was like, I get it. Yeah. I don't like it, but I get why you did it. And I get that it's in the best interest of YouTubers and the growth of the platform. And God dang it, if Harley would just do stuff like that and talk to their customers. Hey, we know you guys are pissed because we did this, this, and this. Here's why we're doing it. We understand it's a concern. In a year, we want to not do that. And here's what we're working towards, because we get it. But to get there, you just got to talk. People are smart these days, and we got all these avenues and all these platforms. You got to talk to people you got to look in the camera, and you got to talk to people on a level that they can understand. You can't talk above them like Hardy has for so many years.
Oh my gosh.
People aren't begging to buy your bikes. You can't, those days are gone, Harley. Those days are gone. You gotta get down. You got to get in the community. You got to get dirty, and you got to connect. That's all I'm saying, bro. God.
Oh, perfect note to end on, man. I think that's perfect. You nailed it. I think this was a good wrap up to that other episode we did, a little bit ago. I think it was just over a year ago.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect because we predicted some of this stuff.
Yep, we did.
We did. We predicted some of this stuff. We said there was going to be, we'd probably see some change in leaderships and hopefully, well, they're not out of business. I don't think we ever thought they were going anywhere. We definitely called that out. We never thought they were going to fully go under, but we did see that plant close and everything else. So, hopefully it's wake up time. Maybe this is just a small step in the right direction for them with Matt stepping down and we'll see. We'll see. I don't know.
So as we take it out, last thing, your prediction, you go first. Your prediction, really quick, and it's just fun. It's just for fun. Is Harley going to make it through this, or are they within the next 5 years going to fold as a company? Are they going to make it through this?
I think Harley-Davidson will have some form of restructure and bankruptcy. And I think that I do. I think
I do too.
In the next 10 or 15 years, Harley is going to plummet, and it's going to be intentional. That is my prediction. They're going to know they're sinking, and they're going to let it sink so they can. I'm not saying exactly how it's going to go down because I don't know, and I know there's a lot of things that stop companies from doing those things, but there's loopholes in everything.
Yep.
Right. I think that. So one of two things are going to happen. Either it's going to do a complete turnaround, right? Something's going to happen. Some famous person's going to start riding a Harley. Hell, the Mayans ain't making the bike sales go up like so. So that's not happening. I think we have a better chance of seeing some form of chapter, some form of bankruptcy, some form of something, and then they get bailed out or sell or something like that.
Bailed out, because that's happened before, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, right. And I think I don't think it's going to be an Indian Motorcycles change hands 500 different times type thing. I think Harley will still be Harley, but I think that I think they're due. If something doesn't change, that's what's going to happen.
Yep, can agree.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I think, like I said, I think once it gets past a certain point, I think we stop talking about how they're going to bail out because I don't think they're going to want to. Like I said, I think it'll be intentional. You have to let it fail.
Nice. We're done. That was great, dude. Right. That was a great way to end it. Because I can't. I agree with you on that. It was well stated. There's going to be a lot of changes that we'll see who they get as a CEO. My dream is I think what Matt said is what's going to happen, but my dream is they all of a sudden get a CEO and they start doing all the things that we just discussed, and all of a sudden they make this turnaround, and they're in the communities and they're talking to you like people. They start realizing that they're not treating people good at dealerships. They stop marking their clothing up 500%. They just start treating people on a really personal level. That's how it is right now with the companies that are successful. They've broken down all those corporate barriers. It's not companies talking at people anymore. It's companies being with the customer, and it's all about customer service.
Yep.
That's the age now, and it's not like it used to be, and they gotta do that. So that's my dream, that they will do that. So hey Matt, thanks a million for being here with me. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. And if we magically start seeing Harley-Davidson sponsored TikTok videos, they're listening to us.
Yeah, no doubt, dude, no doubt. All right, guys, I hope you're all well. I definitely hope you're out there getting some riding in. That's most important.